back to our great recipes. Today we're making up some homemade pickled beets. And as many of you know, there are many things that can be pickled in probably 1,000 different ways. But this is our own unique, distinct way of doing this. They're absolutely delicious, and I know you're going to love it. So let's get started.
Let's begin making the brine by adding in the apple vinegar. If you're not a fan of apple, you can strictly use white. I just like that little bit of additional taste. Next, the white vinegar, the water, the white granulated sugar, garlic cloves, the salt. Now I'm going to bring this to a boil, stirring occasionally until everything is nicely combined. And I'm going to turn off the heat and allow it to cool completely. Next, let's begin preparing the beets by trimming each end. And what I'm going to do here is, because they're a fairly large beet, I'm going to cut them in half. If they're a smaller beet, you can probably just leave them whole. Next, I'm going to place the beets into a large pot of boiling water. And we're going to allow these to boil for about 35 to 40 minutes, or until they're fork tender. If you like your beets a little bit on the crunchy side, you can probably reduce the cooking time by about 10 minutes. After about 35 to 40 minutes and the beets are fork tender, we're going to remove them from the boiling water and set them aside just until they cool enough to handle. Now the beets have cooled a little bit, I'm just going to grab a knife here and latch onto one edge of the skin and just peel it back. And as you can see, it peels fairly easily. You can also see that I'm wearing gloves here because these beets contain a lot of dye and your hands are going to be really red. After we've got our beets peeled, I'm just going to take them and slice them into chunks, I'd say about an inch thick. And cut them again until you have them into bite-sized chunks. Now this step is entirely up to you. You can have your beets as big as you want or as little as you want. And I'm just going to set them aside on a plate and repeat this process for the remaining beets. Now what I've got here are just some old pickle jars that I've had left over from some pickles, and they work just fine. If you want to be really fancy, you can use mason jars. And we're just going to put the beets in and fill them till they're just about up to the neck. Next, I'm going to slip in about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic from the brine. You can slip it down into the side a little further if you want. And now I'm just going to pour the brine over, filling the jar just so it's to the top of the neck. Now we're going to wipe any remaining residue from around the jar and slip a lid on and give it a nice tight seal. Turn it upside down and shake it a bit to make sure the brine is nicely mixed. Next, we're going to put our beets in the fridge and leave them sit for 5 to 7 days. These also keep nicely in the fridge for a few weeks as well. After 5 to 7 days, you've got some incredibly delicious pickled beets you can serve up with just about any application. I just love these. For more details on this recipe, visit our website. And remember, you can always share your recipe with us. Until next time, have a wonderful day and bon appetit.